On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
There's a lot of news in the world today.
News that might surprise you, startle you, upset, or maybe impress.
News that's not always for the faint of heart.
That's why the man who failed his way to success, Heath Oakes, is stepping up.
Tackling today's headlines with ignorance on fire in a way only a millennial mogul can.
Take off your sport coat, grab a beer, and enjoy the conversation.
This is Second Shot with your host, Heath Oakes.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Oh, no.
Batman smells.
Oh, no, I hated when kids changed up the traditional songs.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising.
Oh, no, I did not like any of that. I wanted them to be pure and just, you
Wow.
know, Batman's...
Big
no.
purist
No.
we got here. So we got Jenny,
I am
Zach,
a
and
Christmas
Matt.
song purist.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
Jenny, Zach, and Matt in the house, and we've got. So that's interesting. What is your favorite? Let's go around the horn real quick. Favorite Christmas song?
Oh, man. Mine changes every year. I feel like I come around on something different. I'm going to be honest. The one that's been in the headlines this year has been in the front of my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily because, well, okay. It's not worth getting into. It's a great duet. It's got a good melody. It's fine. Probably the off the top of my head, the off-key version of... Somebody else go. I'm stuck.
Okay.
I panicked.
I do have a favorite one. But what he's referencing is what's the name of that song?
Michael Bublé. What is the name
Baby
of it?
It's Cold Outside.
I am referencing Baby It's Cold Outside. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, wasn't it done before Michael Bublé?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like-
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like-
that's from a film in the
Frank
40s.
Sinatra. Okay,
Yeah.
so my favorite for sure is "Oh Christmas Tree" because for about a full year after Christmas, when my little brother Joey was in church and learned it, he sang that for every song.
So it was like the
Loud.
constant reround, just on repeat.
We sang "Oh
Aw.
Christmas Tree" for a good year. I think he was maybe at what age would that? Maybe like 4.
It's a good
Yeah.
tune.
That'll stick around.
So
Yeah.
every time, everyone else was like, singing like "Amen," like all slow, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree."
The
So that's a fave.
the minor key version, Michael Bublé's minor key version of "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Because it's just different enough from the original that I'm like, okay, like it's in minor, it's different, but it's the same thing I know. Like it's an evolution of something I've heard a million times.
Well, and
so.
you know that one's controversial too.
Wait, is it really?
That one's controversial
No.
because
Oh, no.
let me
No,
throw
we're
it
not-
out here.
that's
What?
just-
You don't want to hear why? Let me tell you why.
Oh, no.
Because the idea, the reason it's controversial is because they're saying ladies should want more than just a man.
Yeah.
Or, not just a man, then that's demeaning to men. So the way I said that was bad
guess.
too. But it's like, oh, you should want more in your life.
And we're not going down that rabbit
that
trail,
might
'cause
be-
I can
that
get
might
on
be
that
right.
rabbit
Yeah,
trail.
you're
Or
right.
that, like,
So
all
let's-
a woman could
Matt.
ever hope for
Yeah.
is a man.
Well, let's let Matt
me
give
just save
his
this.
favorite
Yeah.
song.
I'll pick 2. So my favorite religious one is "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." I really
Yeah.
like that one.
Classic? Yeah.
My favorite secular one is probably "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
my
Yeah,
2
that's
favorites.
Very cozy.
I'd have to say that mine is Jingle Bells, just because it was like, as a kid, that you could do the Jingle Bells, your Batman smells, and
sure.
all that. Like, I thought it was always so funny.
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
And so to make
Clearly,
up as
yeah.
many hilarious parts of it as possible.
There are people in that room that disagree with you on how funny that is.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
good something. Yeah.
But
it's
if there
not
was a
so
way
bad.
to make a wave that wasn't the right way, I attempted
Yeah.
it as a kid. So, kind of speaking of some really smart decisions and things as well, our first headline is pretty great.
Yes. California has a plan to tax text messages. A new surcharge proposed by the California Public Utilities Commission wouldn't be a per-text tax, but a monthly fee based on a cellular bill that includes any fees for text messaging services. Most carriers offer a flat fee option for texting and already charge a similar fee for other services included in the bill. The exact structure of this charge would vary from carrier to carrier. This gets into AT&T and Sprint and T-Mobile, so we won't go into the details, but for what it's worth, California is looking to just tack on an additional tax if you're texting. Heath, what do you think?
Well, and just a follow-up to that, that it was actually also a bill got passed to where that can't happen now. It was
Right,
pulled
the
from the
FCC
ballot.
is not
Yeah,
allowing it to happen.
yeah, the
but for
FCC.
discussion's sake, we bring it up.
So for the discussion's sake, that's exactly correct, Jenny. That was, even though that came out, it's still hit me when I saw it. And not to get into too much of all the politics stuff is, but the state that lost the most amount of businesses last year were California. Like most businesses, and the highest rate of people leaving is California.
You're proposing that's relevant.
Well, it's very relevant because as a general, like California has more taxes and more kinds of taxes than any other state.
Oh, it's brutal.
Obviously, people are just getting tired of the high cost of living on top of the taxes and everything. And so when, we got Jenny that's watching YouTube videos over here during the podcast.
I actually had the
Goodness.
CNN business story
It's true.
about that. Sorry.
Shout out to
That's what
CNN with the auto-playing ads.
That's
No.
what I'd say too.
All right.
Or Fox. I'm not trying to be partisan.
What I thought about in this was when you're building, let's just say you're in a business, say you're middle management, or say you're building a business, say you're working around people or anything.
Yeah.
There are times that you've got to shift, directions. You've got to evolve, and if you don't, you're gonna die. Whether it's you're a middle manager and running a small team, you've got to shift things, right?
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, you always have to weigh out a lot of options. So, for instance, when Apple had the iPod, right, it was huge.
Sure.
When they come out with the iPhone, they basically put their product out of business, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They replaced their own iPod with a phone, okay?
Right.
But here's the thing is, so when you're trying to replace a culture or trying to change a boat of things, you've got to make sure and pay attention to what the base is, because sometimes if you try to shift too much and you forget about the base of people there, maybe, Apple made that switch and could do it because they had so many other products that it wasn't going to kill them to where they'd go bankrupt before the iPhone picked up, right?
Sure.
So sometimes people will make a move in an evolution and they keep going one way even though their baseline is being gone.
Right.
And they're not able to hang on to it. So you've got to calculate out your moves whenever you're trying to change maybe a culture, you're trying to change a direction, or you're doing all of that. You've got to weigh out both, because California, for instance, if they keep up with all the taxing,
right,
they're going to have nobody else to tax, and it could get you in trouble. But outside of that, thinking about whether it's your coworkers, middle management, business, or anything, when you're evolving, you have to make sure and really calculate. You can't just move 360 degrees from one to another right overnight and lose your base foundation versus your forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's certainly a balance of momentum. To pick up on your Apple analogy, like the iPhone wouldn't have been possible without the success of the iPod.
Correct.
You keep that ball rolling and then you get behind it and push more. I get that. But you're right. Like, it's very easy to get swept up in your own snowball, and before you know it, you're somewhere where you never wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And California might be going that way a little bit. You're presenting some solid evidence.
You also look at Kodak, who didn't evolve to the
sure.
digital camera, and they're basically out of business. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I took a kind of a family friend perspective from this one. When I read this article, I started thinking about, okay, so they're taxing, so they're pulling from their resources, right? They have their people, they're proud, California girls, and all these people are really proud to be Californians, right? Yeah, they're undeniable,
I've heard that horrible reference.
I enjoy it very much.
Thank you.
And so, but so these people have all the amazing things that California has to enjoy. So they have the water, they have the great weather, they have the option to swim and ski, within a few hours. It's just beautiful. But they're getting pulled from with regard to the taxes and the high cost of living. Okay, so now we flip that. Look at how that is with your family or your friends. Is there the friend who's always like, hey, would you mind picking this up for me? Hey, can you spot me $20?
Oh, slippery slope.
Hey, so I know that you're going to be in this area, and would you mind picking my child up when you pick your child up and bring it back? But yet they're never offering to, like, say, reimburse you or say, hey, you know what? You've hosted Christmas every year. Let me host Christmas. Or you've been picking my child up. Let me help out with yours. Or you ran the errand for me. Let me do that for you. Or even just like giving them the appreciation. It's almost like California is doing this thing where they're not appreciating their people who are there.
California always buys a cigarette, but always bums a cigarette, but never buys a pack.
Yes.
Oh, I blew my analogy.
No, but it's true. And you can only live off your beauty for so long.
Yeah.
And the same goes in real life.
That's true.
People living off their beauty.
I like that look. I think that's a great second shot, actually.
I agree.
Because sooner or later, you're going to get to the end of this road and realize, all my friends are gone, or hey, my family's not having that same loyalty they once had to me. Well, maybe you are sucking them dry,
I was about to say,
emotionally or something like
Don't
that.
you got to look at it yourself and think, are people like, are you that person? Like, you're like, oh my God, am I that person that really keeps taking that cigarette and never bring, to use that analogy. But I mean, in general, that's the thing is it's not that one thing you did a long time ago can only last for so long.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, and Jenny, you know me, like one of my big, I don't like to get anything for free.
Right.
I hate
Really?
getting stuff for free. I do not want you to give me anything for free. If I have a friend that has a service or something, I want to use them and pay them as a business transaction. I don't want a deal. I don't want...
Because you always end up owing them in a different way.
Well, and you never know, and I don't like owing anybody anything.
Yeah.
And then when it's done in that way, then you don't even know what you owe really. Like somebody goes, I'll do this for you and you can just tip me. Well, how much do I tip you, right? Like I don't even know what to use that on. And if I don't give you enough, or you're going to be like, I gave them free service and they only tip me whatever, right? And then you over tip and you end up paying more than you would just for a regular person. So it's like, I like it to be very clear. Mm-hmm. I want to use you because you're my friend. I think you do something good. Charge me for your service. I don't want to feel like this is because I'm not trying to take. I think you're good. I want to use you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And those people. There are definitely those people that continue to draw from their arrow stack and they're not refilling it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're drawing from those relationships, and that when we all have those friends that we know we can count on. And there's got to be a difference between friends you can count on because you have a tight back and forth relationship, and the friends who are just
it's one way.
It's one way, and you're the offender.
And
so don't be California in your friendships or your family.
And so when you think about it, and kind of summing it all up, is like in business, if you're trying to make any kind of moves or changes, make sure that you don't do so much that whatever your base is, you got to if you have to keep your base long enough to survive the new, don't totally, wipe it out and put yourself in a tough situation. Look at is there 1, 2, 3 little small steps to making that change that can kind of keep the backflow, if that's what needs to happen. Mm-hmm. And also understanding in your personal relationships that if you are that person that is the one-way street, take a look at yourself right now and change that and make that realization. And number 2, if you've got too many friends that are one way, maybe it's time to make some of those changes so it's not just drawing from you constantly over and over and over. So we'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He's a suit and tie kind of guy with deep Southern roots. Keith Oakes hosts more of Second Shot coming up on RNCN.
To all of my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage, I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about is this the real deal, and go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
So because I'm pretty positive that we don't have anybody listening to this podcast that still believes in Santa, I'm pretty positive that everybody's got to be of age of some sort.
Well, some people listen in the cars, but if so, then maybe fast forward a minute.
Yeah, maybe so.
With the kiddos in the car.
But I'm most excited this Christmas about getting to be Santa.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like, that's so freaking cool.
You gotta
like the first
bad
year.
Part's going to be
Sure.
that she totally does not understand yet.
Well, no.
Oh, she's gonna understand.
But these are the practice years. This
Yeah.
is when you really get
She's
down to
true.
routine.
She's gonna
yeah.
get it. She's gonna get like enough that she's gonna see a couple cool new toys and stuff she's never seen, and it's gonna be
And
fun
she's
to
going to be
watch.
excited. I'm curious to hear from all of you. Do you, like growing up, did you wrap Santa gifts, or were they set out? And also, were the bigger gifts from Santa, or were the bigger gifts from family?
Yeah, and go to the Second Shot
Yeah.
Facebook group and post that after this, and tell us what your deal was.
Facebook.com/group/secondshot.
Because this gets really controversial in some families, believe it or not.
What did you have?
We had Santa gifts were unwrapped.
Okay.
Family gifts were wrapped.
Yep.
And I would say now I'm thinking it was more of a logistics thing, but that Santa's gifts were usually the bigger gifts, because they're harder to wrap. So they're like, oh, that's from Santa. Maybe they didn't want to wrap it.
Like the bicycle would be from Santa.
Right. Yes, exactly. With just like a bow on it, or just kind of sitting out, or something like that.
He's already got a lot of gifts on the sleigh. All right, wrapping paper is a whole other beast.
Yeah, and we never did. We didn't do big Christmases. Our Christmases were very modest, but very special. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were very. And I truly believe in modest, special Christmases. So you can get like those couple things, and excess you have, you can maybe.
Yeah, the best ones are, I think.
Due to, help others out.
That's funny because mine was exactly the same as yours.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Identical.
Well, I guess we'll be okay then.
It's we have no controversy in our household of figuring out how to do Christmas because
we
it's
have other
literally
controversies.
Identical.
Yeah.
And look, Zach forgot to start the clock. And he literally started today going, there's no way I'm going to miss. Stop.
But you know what, Zach? You're more than a clock starter.
Thank you.
No,
that means
it's
a
okay.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right. Our second headline, from defendant to top prosecutor, this tattooed Texas district attorney represents a new wave in criminal justice reform. This is telling the story of Mark Gonzalez.
And this is pretty old, right?
Yeah, this actually came out in November, so this has been a minute, but it doesn't make him not a district attorney, so for what it's worth.
Right, the story's still relevant,
yes,
for sure.
He's a newly elected district attorney of Nueces County, and he's a Hispanic man, lots of tattoos, and he's doing his thing. He's well, I should just kind of get into this. The improbable ascent of the self-styled Mexican biker lawyer to a top law enforcement job 2 years ago speaks to the profound change sweeping dozens of local prosecutors' offices across the country. In a field that is 95% white and overwhelmingly male, many are minorities, women, or gays, and hail from unlikely backgrounds such as civil rights work or the public defender's office. The new breed of prosecutors is upending a traditional tough-on-crime focus by emphasizing a holistic approach over conviction rates and long sentences. Could a man who had never prosecuted a case in his life transform justice in a state synonymous with an uncompromising approach to law and order? And it digs into some more DAs, and it's actually like an 8-page article, but just to sum it up, that's the question. That's what's posed, is we have a lot of people who are coming in new, fresh blood, coming from a different background into a system that is already pretty old. What's it all for?
Well, something that you just said is really my second shot on it in general. If you ever feel stagnant in work and or personal, doing something different and like infusing yourself with fresh faces, fresh people, fresh whatever can really skyrocket things. So if you have a business and y'all are stagnant, you're going down, you whatever, honestly, it may be time to bring in some new blood, as we call it. Bring in new people, because new people have fresh faces, fresh outlooks, fresh things. If you don't make some of those, and like in your personal life, if you're in this like habit that is not making you happy, you're kind of doing the same routine that there's nothing new kind of with it, then you've got to go pick out a couple different things to get involved in, to meet new people, to have some maybe new friends that maybe bring new ideas and maybe push you in new ways, because the old ways is not getting you to that next step, because you have to continue to evolve. I believe you truly completely evolve as a person every 10 years. And so maybe there's those times you've got to go, I've got to get out of the same routine so I can meet different kinds of people. If you keep going, I'm meeting these same kind of people, go somewhere else and meet new people and to bring new blood in. If you work, if you're stagnant, you got to maybe make some tough changes and bring in new blood to be able to get the spark up of a new way.
So kind of get outside of your bubble, so to speak. So when I heard this story, sort of my second shot on this was maybe from an employee's perspective. And sometimes what we do when we're growing up and, you have like a career fair at school, or somebody says, what do you want to be? And you do kind of look to who you know and people who may look like you. You think, oh, well, I don't know, what do my parents' friends do? They do this, or what do
your sphere
my parents
of influence.
do? Your sphere of influence can be very small, but thankfully, because of the internet and because of social media, you certainly can find inspiration from someone who is like you. And I'm not saying it's just, the attorney here was, they described him as, I think, tattooed Mexican, that was his
biker,
that was sort of like
Mexican biker
his
lawyer.
Heritage, but also his exterior and things like that.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of like thinking, oh, I've always wanted to do this type of job, but I don't see anybody who looks like me or who was raised like me in that field, that's okay. Look at this guy, he's killing it.
Everybody can blaze a trail.
Yes, and how cool to be that person and to be so impressive in that field. And then you're always going to be surrounded by different people and from different different spheres of influence.
Yeah.
So it's kind of exciting to really think about the idea of, hey, I don't see anybody who seems like me in my background. Well, why don't I try it? Or if you're somebody who needs a little bit of a push, you certainly can go online now and find that kind of inspiration. Say you're thinking, okay, I want to be a makeup artist, but it seems like all the makeup artists in my area are like this type of person. You go on Instagram, there's a bazillion different types of makeup artists who do different types of makeup. Sometimes they do it specifically for an Indian wedding, which is a certain type of look. Some people do more of a natural look. So, that's not going to resonate with all of our listeners, but just from a very sort of like entry level point, I think it's important to either see yourself in a different realm or go out there and find those people who may be like you and let them serve as just sort of a mentor.
But you have to go make an effort to meet different types of people and cultures. That's the thing that people don't understand, and especially in today's world, a lot of corporate stuff try to fit round pegs into square holes of diversity, right? They'll say, oh, we're going to be diverse, and they just hire diverse people just because, instead of them being qualified or not, or vice versa. You've got to hire the right people that have an open mind. There are people that do things in many different cultures, and they will attract the right types of people for things. And so you've got to go make an effort. That's what I don't understand with people. Sometimes they go, well, I just don't have this certain culture around or something. No, you're just doing the same thing. Go make it. You got to go make an effort.
Here's a problem that companies are doing, and you maybe are even doing it in your own life, is they make this decision all of a sudden to, quote, be diverse, but they're not living that way in their own lives, so they don't know these people to go find.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when your hiring pool is, you look around who you surround yourself with. Are they only the people in your neighborhood, income level, only your religion, only your race, only your age? Well, that's going to be a problem if you're in the hiring arena, because those are going to be the only people you want to find. And then you say, I want to find, quote, diverse. Well, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. So here's something people would say. Well, why do I need to be diverse? Why does it matter? Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I grew. I love where I'm from. I am very grateful for where I was raised because my roots are strong, and it was a great time for me as a kid. I loved it. I have nothing but pure joy to look back on. But I can tell you this, when I moved away from there, and I've lived in different parts of the country and been now open to many different cultures and traveling to stuff, I have grew and learned tremendously. Like the amount of knowledge.
You're still using your language from there, though.
That's why, when you marry a journalist for a wife.
Thought about saying something, but I was not gonna.
No, but
it's good.
I'm still always fulfilling the role of Chad, and I know Chad would have called that
Chad
out.
would appreciate that.
So
Chad would appreciate it. That's true. But when I think about it, I go, I can't tell you. You don't know the limits that you can achieve once you get outside of your bubble and learn about other things. Look, I've learned about tons of cultures, tons of everything. Does it mean that I agree with all of them and I like all of them? It's not that I agree with all. I don't agree with all of them. I don't have all. But you know what? I respect it, and I have learned a tremendous amount I've taken things from a lot of stuff. So, when I look at it and think about it, it's like when people talk about why to be, everybody talks about diversity, and sometimes there's people sitting around going, why do I want to be diverse? Let me tell you, when you learn all different cultures, different walks of life, and you put yourself in other shoes, I think it's critical to put your kids in all kinds of different spots that are learning different things, because and I'm not telling you that you have to agree with their lifestyles. I don't think that you have to agree with all of that. But what I can tell you is you're going to learn. There are going to be things and ways that people do things that will help you in your personal life, your business life, because they look at stuff in a completely different way. And it's a tremendous thing, I think, to teach your kids of the other cultures, to respect them, to be involved in them, because they're going to learn tremendously as well. So we'll be back on the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Second Shot with Keith Oakes still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in paper book You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
So we had a fun little contest this week.
Yes.
If you're not in the Second Shot Facebook group, you don't know about it. Losers.
But you can join.
Yeah.
You're invited.
Go look up Second
Love
Shot at Facebook groups and join it. And also know that secondshotcast@gmail.com. Anything you would like to email us, talk to us about, anything like that, then you can shoot it there at secondshotcast@gmail.com. And also shaming you if you have not left a review to please leave us a rating or review. And the other thing, look, if you like this a lot, it's really easy to click those three little dots next to it and share it on your social media. I mean, if you can share it on your social media and let people know what you think about it, then others will see it and maybe, go on and start becoming a fan of the Second Shot as well. And if you find joy out of it and find it useful, obviously you do, or you wouldn't keep listening to us over and over. Share it with your friends.
I will also say my offer still stands. If you tag me, I will repost you. So if you have a business or something cool to share, or even just you're trying to get followers on your personal profile, I will totally post you in the Instagram stories or whatever the case may be.
Take that one up. There's some clout there. She's got a lot of followers. It's totally worth your time. Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal. People know me.
So this hot giveaway.
So we had a giveaway.
Yeah.
And it was
only eligible for people inside the group.
I want you to kind of explain the giveaway.
Sorry,
because
I was interrupting?
No, because it was all your idea.
Okay, this was my idea.
Yeah.
Well, because people have been saying, you've got to get the shop up, the store up, and I did figure out a shop for Second Shot gear. However, we wanted to order the stuff first and buy it ourselves before we tell people about it, because I don't want you guys paying $15-20 for a shirt and then having it show up like off center or something, because I could see me doing that. Because technology is not really my forte. Also, if there's anybody who wants to make the store themselves, please let me know. I'd be happy to do that with you. But I figured before the holidays, let's do a fun Second Shot giveaway. So some people are getting a shirt. Some people are getting a hat. The hats are very cool. I love the shirt, too. It's like super soft, and I actually wear mine all the time.
Yeah.
And so she did a deal 24 hours. If you posted it and shared a podcast episode on your any social media and told your friends to go listen or whatever, if you took a screenshot and emailed it to secondshotcast@gmail.com, you'd be put into the drawing and stuff to be one of the 3 people to win some Second Shot gear. So we have the 3 people that have won.
Yes.
Yes, here they are.
Very
We picked
excited.
3 winners. Okay, so
drum
first
roll.
of all, Bailey. Shout out to Bailey, who we actually know. So that was fun that she entered and posted.
She's my cousin, so kind of know her a little bit.
No nepotism.
Everyone in
It's
East
all
Texas
chance.
is
Yeah.
Heath's cousin.
Yeah.
Also, one from, or one of the winner is.
Can we say who that is?
Yeah.
I know who that person is.
Jeffrey. It's Jeff Rollo.
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff!
Jeff
Oh,
Rulo.
I know
Kenzie.
Jeff from the group.
Yeah.
Jeff is awesome.
The man with all
and
the plans.
we have one more winner, Julian. Do I say last names?
Well, yeah,
I will not.
We
because
outed
he shared it
Jeff.
on. He took his screenshot.
You guys,
of it.
I know I'm so like courteous about people's privacy
Yeah.
or just
Oh,
sensitive
sure.
about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for the sweet, generous posts that you made online. And so if you didn't win this time, we will do another giveaway coming up whenever I figure out the ordering of shirts situation.
It'll be good.
And we will have these. We'll be getting with you 3 on if you want shirt, hat, and whatnot. And ask when you get it and you wear it, take a picture of it, post it in the group or post it on your social media and tag us in it so we can see it as well.
See you looking so good in your Second Shot gear.
Wear it out to the state fair next year or something. Come on, do us a solid.
Wear it with big text.
Yeah. Take it on Instagram. Tag Jenny.
Since this is the episode right before Christmas, I thought it'd be cool if all of us could maybe, if we, if anything kind of pop in your mind about Christmas, whether it's, maybe it's your family traditions or just a Christmas memory you have that is kind of fun and whatnot to share with everybody, of, and I'll kind of start it off because I had something pop in my mind earlier. It's so funny when we were talking about favorite Christmas songs and stuff. So in case, for everybody who doesn't know, I literally cannot carry a tune in a bucket. I am as tone deaf as it can absolutely 100%
Hey,
be.
I heard that jingle bells at the top of the show. Don't sell yourself short, Heath.
I have always been.
Yeah.
However, when I was a kid, I wanted to sing so bad. I wanted to be at the front of the church doing whatever it was to sing. And my parents did a very smart thing and had that real talk when I was like 9 or 10 of, look, son, you can't sing. You need to know that.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
My dad.
It was actually very great because I didn't pursue. I did not keep after that when I was, and I look back, realize I was really bad. Like I was really, I wasn't even close. Like it wasn't like it was a kid that was really close that could maybe evolve one day. No, I was far off. So I say all that to go, one time with my cousin, they lived in what we called quote unquote town, which was Troop, and it actually had like, there was actually neighborhoods and there was like gas stations and stuff.
Oh
there.
yeah, you'd go into town.
Was there a stoplight?
Oh yeah,
One
Okay,
stoplight,
well,
always flashing
actually,
yellow.
no, it was just a 4-way.
Okay.
But it was close.
Farm to market.
But we were at their house on Christmas Eve, and our parents would not let us have candy because obviously we had to get wound down to go to bed later on.
Right. That makes
so,
sense.
So we were about probably my cousin Cody was a year older than me, so we were probably. I was probably 10 or 11, so he'd have been 12 or 13. I was probably 10. He was probably 11, okay? So what I did, I said, we're going to go play outside. I was always one who got my cousin into everything, and for some reason he went along with me. I got him outside, and I said, here's what we'll do. We're going to go knock on doors and sing Christmas carols and ask for candy in return. So we went door to door in the neighborhood and got boatloads of candy. So we would knock on the door and say, can we sing a Christmas carol for you for candy? And we would sing Jingle Bells, or whatever.
Fresh
right?
off Halloween. They're trying to get more candy.
Always an entrepreneur.
And we did probably, 6, 7, 8 doors and like got us boatloads of candy, stuffed it in all of our pants, and we come walking in thinking, oh yeah, we're going back here and tear this up. And as we get in there, we got told real quick because one of the neighbors called to tell Aunt Ava and them that how precious it was that their kids were singing Christmas carols for candy around the neighborhood.
A snitch.
Yeah, and she was not. She didn't mean to, right? It was like, oh, that's so cute, and so that ended our Christmas carols. But we did. We didn't give up all the candy. We ate some of it,
And he never went caroling again. Man,
but there's a Christmas story.
that's a
of
good
mine.
one. Yeah.
So, anybody else has got a tradition or anything that comes to mind?
I wasn't thinking of me behaving badly over the holidays, but I do have a favorite.
Hey, that was goodwill.
I
He
know
was
that
singing to families. Come on.
Yeah.
That was.
I think let's see, we've got a couple favorites. I loved the Advent calendar, so we would always do that every year, and my brothers and I would trade off, and it'd always be like a big fight at the end who got to read the Christmas story.
Yeah.
Did you guys do? It'd be
Yes.
like, would be counting it down like, okay, so it would be like, oh, Gus, why don't you start this year?
Yeah.
Because if Gus started, then every third one, then I would end up being the Christmas, reading
Nice.
the Christmas
and you
story.
because you were the
Figured it
oldest, so
out.
you were probably really the one that could think that far ahead
Right.
enough.
Well, Joey, 4 years younger than me, was still better at math, so he actually would be the one end up, figuring it out. So that, and then also we would go to all the fancy neighborhoods and look at the Christmas lights, and I loved doing that. Just because it was like, wow, look, gosh, who's living in these houses? First of all,
Yeah.
and then second of all, I think that they must have had maybe professionals putting up their lights or something. They're always like these huge grand displays. So we would usually do that after church on Christmas Eve or maybe a couple nights before. So that was just fun. Everybody kind of crammed in the car, and we put some cocoa in a thermos, and maybe we'll. Are you up for that this year, babe?
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know, most
Some
guys are
Christmas
like,
lights?
this does not sound like fun, but
No caroling. None of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if you're lucky, I'll let you out and sing for candy.
Get some candy.
I do
Sweet.
still have some Halloween candy if you want to swing by the
Do you
house.
really?
Cool.
And donate it to the
Stuff
cause.
keeps.
we
Oh, yeah.
don't have any in our house.
Zach, Matt, either one of y'all?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Mine isn't necessarily one particular story or thing. It's just kind of an overall monthly tradition for December. I'm a big media consumer. I went to school for movies, and I do this, and I play video games, and like my family, like we watched a lot of movies when we were kids, lots of Disney classics, and we were big on Christmas movies, like all the Rankin Bass specials, the Rudolph and the Frosties, and then the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I mean, any Christmas movie, you name it, I've probably seen it. And you got the favorites, the tentpoles, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story. It's just getting together with my family because we still every year we watch them, we bust them out, and I've
So
got DVDs now instead of the old VHS tapes we used to have.
Do you watch a 24-hour Christmas Story on Christmas Eve?
I don't. No.
Oh.
See, we never had cable back in the day, so we didn't have ABC Family. Like they were.
Well,
all
I'm talking about like
public
now.
access
Like now, it's
requests.
all there. That they do it, but it's great. I love
Cord
that show.
cutters.
I love that movie.
Yeah, we do watch Christmas Story and we watch Christmas Vacation, and it's weird now. Like the older I get, it's not weird per se, but every year you have a new perspective revisiting this same thing, and in a lot of ways, that's what Christmas is. And it's sitting there and watching it with my dad and hearing him laugh at the same damn joke every year in Christmas Vacation, and I laugh because he laughs, and my mom rolls her eyes, and it's this like moment when you're all together again, and it's like, man. Some things, enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. And that's kind of what Christmas is all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I like that
Thanks.
perspective a lot.
Yeah.
For me, it was not necessarily a family tradition. It was more of a me tradition. But I grew up in the same town as my grandparents. They lived right across town, which in Springtown was like a 5-minute drive. And so we would have Christmas morning at my house where it was just, my mom and dad and myself. And then around 9 o'clock, we'd go over to my grandparents' house, and that's when we had breakfast. And, if my grandparents had any gifts for us, they would be there. And I was allowed to bring one thing that I really enjoyed from home, that I got Christmas morning. I'd bring it and show it to my grandparents. And looking back now, I can realize they didn't care. Like, they didn't know what any of this stuff was. I'd bring a transformer or something, and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's cool. And, my grandpa would be looking at it, and
They acted like they cared.
They acted like they cared. And so to me, it was the biggest, that was the most fun on Christmas morning was saying, oh, this really cool thing, or, my RC car, or this pound puppy, or whatever I got, I'd bring it over and show it to them. And they would act so enthralled by it that it made it all the more better, I think.
Aw.
Oh, that's sweet.
That
I
is
do
very
love that.
sweet.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, and it's kind of amazing to look up. This will be the second Christmas we'd share it with our second shot listeners. This is second Christmas.
It's
Second-
true.
Second
The
Christmas
podcast.
together, guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So I just want to say I'm grateful for all you guys, for everybody, and I hope that everybody has a very, very Merry Christmas, and you eat all kinds of bad stuff you're not supposed to eat, and that nobody goofs up the Santa Claus thing.
Yeah, I got to ask you guys about that offline. I got questions.
Yeah.
I want to know
Okay.
your whole strategy.
So
Okay.
It's
where
fine.
can they find you all at? Jenny, Zach, and Matt.
Jenny Anchondo TV on Twitter, on Instagram, Jenny Anchondo, Facebook, Jenny Anchondo, or JennyAnchondo.com, which I'm updating, so it's going to be really cool.
I will be at Apple Zackintosh on Twitter and Instagram. Still working on the Insta thing. I'll get it one day. And Facebook.com/group/Second Shot. Come on in. Join the conversation.
You can find me Matt Stoker 1 on Instagram. You can see pictures of when my dog came to visit work.
Adorable.
Last week.
Logan
He
is
hung
an
out with me
angel.
all day.
At Heath Oaks, at Ignorance on Fire, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find me on all of them. I love you guys. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.